What's going on, people, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. Tottenham 5, Mura 1 in a fantastic victory in the Conference League. The glorious nights of the Conference League came to fruition tonight with the first home game in the Conference League, which ended 5-1, obviously. But, you know, it took for the big guns to come on to actually make a difference, didn't it?
It's funny, it was 5-1, but it felt a little bit like a dead game, didn't it, for most of it?
It did.
It was a strange one. It looked good for the first 10 minutes, and then it went a little bit static, a little bit stale, until Kane, Lucas and Son came on.
Yeah, I mean, we were 2-0 up within 7 minutes, but then after that, until the changes, there was just nothing in it, was there?
I know. And that was what Sim was saying. It's a little bit worrying, isn't it, to think that if the big hitters aren't there, then what are we going to do?
It is worrying. It is very worrying. I mean, you're looking at the squad right now, and outside of, you know, our core players, there's no one there really, is there? I mean, what's out there?
What, in our squad?
Yeah.
Well, Ndombele, you'd say, wouldn't you?
But he's a core player now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I see. Okay, yeah. So on the fringe level, yeah. Not that much, isn't it? Who else is there? Yes.
It's worrying. It's very,
well, it's a lack
worrying.
of squad depth, isn't it? You know, obviously the squad is paper thin. It's wafer thin, and this is the problem we always have with Levy. He needs to be strength and depth for the whole season, doesn't it?
Yeah, you need to be proactive, not reactive, and you need to, you know, see the problems before they happen, like Pochettino did, and he said it. And, you know, everyone else is too slow to react. Well, the hierarchy of the club anyway. Yeah,
exactly. Feeling the effects of it now.
Yeah, definitely. We were feeling the effects of it at the back end of Poch.
Exactly, even at the back end of Poch, but now we're seeing it even more so.
Yeah. But you know what? We won 5-1 tonight, so shouldn't we be positive?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's 5-1, isn't it? So, you know, you've got to be positive with that. And Kane's found his level. No, I'm joking. He took his goals really well. And it did make it, you could see the quality as soon as he came on, he was getting in those positions. Admittedly, he's not going to have that much.
Sorry about that, guys. It's Levy doing his old sabotage tricks once again on the stream here. But we're talking about Harry Kane. Harry Kane obviously came on today, scored a hat-trick, took it really well. There's been a lot of talk about him not kind of starting this weekend. A lot of fans want to see him dropped. And I want to know if fans still want to see him dropped.
Can we actually do a poll? Because Sim made a really good point. He says if this was... a lot of it's done on recency bias. And we did the poll in the hotspot, and I think it was 72%, I think, said wanted him to be dropped.
That was how long ago? Yesterday. That was yesterday.
That was yesterday, yeah. And Sim actually said what would happen if this was last game when he just scored midweek, right? And so we want to know, based on today's performance even, has that changed the opinion of people? So all of you lot, the 72% that thinks he should be dropped for this weekend, do you still think that? Or do you think he should come into the team or not? So we'll do a poll. Should Harry Kane be dropped this weekend? The same. Let's just do the same question, word it the same way, because then it's a controlled experiment then.
Okay. All right, that's up.
All right, so let's see what happens there. I'll be interested to see that.
That is up. I would like to see the answers for that one. I voted in that one, and I said yes. How do I feel about it now? I think that, you know, it's very hard to drop a player who scored a hat-trick.
That's the problem. If a player does score a hat-trick...
Can you really stop a player that scored a hat-trick, especially as how bad we are going forward right now?
Tell that to Poch. Tell that to Poch in the Champions League final. That's the thing, isn't it? It's bad. They were probably the worst team I've ever seen us play. Well, anyway, in recent history, I would say. So it's not a fair barometer, and that's the thing. But if a player does score a hat-trick, it's a little bit like... That's also not sending a good message to play him. So it's a funny one. But what I would say is you're not going to see that Kane this weekend. I'm telling you that now. You're not going to see that performance.
Cody Mack says, lol, John, it is not a controlled experiment. Phil says, would Scarlett have scored if he would have stayed on?
Well, that's the thing. I actually think that if Scarlett stayed on and he had Son and Lucas there as well, I think it would have added so much in the final third that he could have popped up with a goal, I think. And that was like, you could see he felt a little bit miffed at the fact he came off at that point, because I think he was thinking, this is my chance. If there was going to be a chance for him to score, it would be in that game, wouldn't it? Because if he's not going to score in that game, can you really see him scoring in like tougher games than that? I think he'd probably go even more. Yeah, become even more anonymous.
He was missing against Passos. He was missing today, but I don't really want to talk negatively about him.
No, I know.
He's a 17-year-old kid trying to earn his stripes, and at the end of the day, his physicality is just not there yet. He needs to be. Yeah. He needs to grow into his body a bit. He needs to put on some muscle. He needs to put on some weight.
Yeah.
And so does Brian Hill, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think Hill's still got more in his game that can still hurt the opposition.
Does. Of course he does. Yeah,
despite his frame.
He's 3 years older than him at the end of the day.
But no negatives about Scarlett. I mean, I just said, like, I actually think he probably would have popped up with a goal. You know, if he had Lucas and Son with him, because he just injected a lot more energy into the final third, and there was a lot more creativity and incisive passes going. Lo Celso was starting to grow into the game, and he was threading passes through as well. So he might have gotten to the end of one or two of those. You know, so yeah.
Who was your man of match today?
There wasn't really any standout performances today.
I would say
I'd say Kane. I'd have to say Kane.
Well, he obviously got the hat trick. I think Giovanni Lo Celso.
He took his goal excellently first half, but then I thought he went missing in the first half a lot. He was actually falling over quite a lot.
He did, but as soon as those players came on, 10 minutes in the second half, he came to life.
Yeah, so you could probably say on that basis Lo Celso, but I don't know. I'll say probably just for the hat trick, Harry Kane. I'll say man of the match.
A lot of people saying Gio man of the match here. Dan Schultz saying Gio man of the match. Come on.
Yeah.
And I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Lo Celso is man of the match today.
Just so you know, I don't have anything against Kane. I will give him props when he comes out of the goals.
John giving Harry Kane man of the match.
There you go. No, I think if someone gets a hat trick, he's definitely in the hat, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the fact he got the hat trick in how many minutes was that? Like 30 minutes? 20 minutes. You know, that's pretty good going. So,
all right, shall we start bringing some guests on?
Yep.
All right, who we got up first?
I was looking for my headphones around my neck.
We got Brian Daigle.
There you go, Brian.
Brian, can I just tell you, Brian, just all day, John, all he's been going on about is the chemistry that you two have, and how it's not as good as it is with Brian. It's not as good. The chemistry of Brian's too good.
What could I say, John? I mean, we had a wicked day. There was a bromance going on there. It started with Mura, and it's just building and building, and then come a few more watch-alongs that we got together. It was a great day. It was a great evening we had, and I think we're still the only combination to win when you're not there.
Very true. It's the winning formula. So when you two are back in the studio for West Ham away, I think that's the next time you've got the duo going on. Hopefully you can bring us the 3 points.
Oh, for West Ham away, let's pray to God that we do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need that one.
But Brian, obviously 5-1 today. Was it worrying for you, the kind of attacking intent from the team or the attacking solutions from the team after we went 2-0 up for the remainder of that first half? Or was it just a bit of a walk in the park today and you're not taking too much notice of it?
It's extremely worrying. And I didn't take too much notice of it because it was the most boring game of all time as well. So... But yeah, it's very, very concerning. It's just, you saw when you got Skip and Winks, Dele again was absolutely nowhere apart from his penalty. It's all he does. He can take a penalty now. Lo Celso tried, and Scarlett I enjoyed watching. I would like to see him on with Kane, but yeah, it's very worrying that we can't do anything against a team of this quality until those three came on.
You say we couldn't do anything. We were 2-0 up after 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, come on, this team was so poor.
They were so poor.
Do you reckon this team, if we had it against Aston Villa, this starting 11 would be 2-0 up? Or that's what we've got to remember. It was against a very, very poor team.
And also, start the second half, they might have been the better side for the first 10 minutes.
Well, I must admit, when the first goal went in, I thought, oh God, here we go. Here we go. This is going to be it. They came out firing, and we just certainly didn't. We just looked devoid of ideas until the three came on. And it looks like we're just a one-half team most of the time at the moment, which is, again, deeply concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so who would you say was your man of the match? Who do you thought actually played well then?
Lo Celso. Lo Celso was due, I said on the pump-up, he needed to have a big game. And again, yes, it's minimus, but he needed a bit of a confidence booster, and he certainly did that. I want to talk about the poll you did. I mean, I've actually said yes, drop Kane. But the only reason I say drop Kane is because no matter what, Nuno seems hell-bent on playing this 4-3-3, no matter what we do.
Mm.
And if we play a 4-3-3, he just doesn't fit. If we go 4-2-3-1, Kane to start every single time. But if we go 4-3-3, I just don't think against Premier League opposition, Kane's right for that formation.
It's interesting because the poll was done yesterday on the Hotspur, right?
Yep.
When Sim and John were on, and it was 72% that Kane should be dropped. It's now 74% that Kane should not be dropped.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he scored a hat-trick against a team that probably we all could have scored a hat-trick against, and all of a sudden he's back, he's got his mojo, but that's what we said after the 2 goals in the Portuguese game. And then he went missing again. So hopefully this is the shot that he needs, but I don't see it. He has to go a long, long way to prove it, and for me, if we play the 4-3-3, it just does not work with him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. It's recency bias, isn't it? Within 24 hours, it's completely flipped.
Exactly.
It's whether or not. I mean, it's the fact he scored 3. I think has made the difference as well. Had he scored 1, I think that. Let's be honest, it probably wouldn't have been as high as that as well. Can we agree on that? The fact that he scored a hat trick obviously just puts an exclamation mark on it a little bit more. But I would say though that you can't really judge. You can't compare these 2 competitions. I think, yes, he played well today. Yes, he got the hat-trick, but I get the feeling that he's going to go totally missing again this weekend, as he has done. And I think you're right in saying that. The system's not working. The formula just doesn't look good, does it, when he's up there playing in a 3, let's say. It just seems as though everything slows down. He almost looks as anonymous in the Premier League as Scarlett looked today.
Correct. I mean, the good thing is, though, John, Scarlett was actually trying to do bits.
As anonymous in the Premier League.
Scarlett was actually trying to do bits and pieces, and he looked like he wanted to get involved, and his movement was good. Whereas Kane, in the Premier League games, he's just not been there. He's not added that kind of energy or anything. And like I said, I keep saying it, he's gone missing in Premier League games. We'd expect, if we don't expect Kane to score hat-tricks or braces in the Europa Conference League, then what the hell do we expect from him now?
Yeah,
he needs to start doing it in the Premier League. He has to start showing it in the Premier League.
It's true.
And that's what there is. I mean, this game is huge, and we know what he did with Aston Villa when Poch's job was on the line. It was the start of Kane and everything. Let's just hope for a repeat of that on Sunday. Yeah. Especially when I'm with you, Ben. We have to see a Spurs goal together.
We have to. We have to.
In case I'm
even a shot on goal would be nice.
Yeah, no, Kane had 1 shot on goal, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's try and do it. I just got to have 1 goal going whilst I'm there, for crying out loud.
Brian, back on Giovanni Lo Celso, you said he was man of the match. I mean, does that play him into the team on the weekend, or is it just against Mura and you can't really tell?
Well, the one thing he did give his effort, which is the one thing Ndombele, as we know, doesn't. When me and John were together, we were waxing lyrical about Ndombele in the first half, and he kind of went, if we don't give Ndombele a free role, it's not worth playing him because he's just a passenger. So if we need someone to graft, because Aston Villa's midfield will graft all day long, and I think you have to start Lo Celso. I think you have to.
Really, you have to start him.
And then, you know what I mean? If you bring Ndombele on with 35 minutes and he can do what he does in the first half or first 30 minutes of a normal game, then he could win it on his own when the Aston Villa team are tiring.
Yeah. All right. Brian?
No, before he goes,
all right.
Can we get a team? We're going to get...
Yeah, what team are we doing?
What are we doing? We're freestyling, aren't we?
Best European team?
Yeah. Do you know what, Brian? This has set a trend now. No, I know. I said that to them, Brian. They said, "Oh, can we do like the best player, worst player in like 11?" I said, "That's me and Brian's thing. We immortalise." And they went, "No, it's so good, we want to use it." I was like, "All right, but just don't. You've got to break it to Brian."
My divorce lawyers will be in touch.
Yeah.
Well, no, if it's your, maybe Brian can come up with the idea then. If
Brian, you said
left out.
You give me the team because John and I have got our one. We're doing a cult hero one.
We're doing a cult hero on the next one.
The cult hero one you can't touch.
Yeah.
So you give me a team and I'll make the first. I'll make the first pick. So
something to do with best European 11 or something, or best performance in a European match or something.
I see. Like,
this is a very, very easy one. Gareth Bale, Inter Milan's at home.
Left wing or left back?
Left. Where did he play that game? He was left wing, wasn't he? Left wing.
He was left wing. Yeah.
Gareth Bale, left wing.
At home. What, Taxi for Maicon?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Game.
Okay. All right. Nice. This is a good one. Yeah, I like this. Fantastic.
Are we gonna? Do we have to write this down, or are we gonna?
No, we remember this, didn't we, Brian? We remembered all this off by heart.
See, there's your challenge, Ben. Now.
Yeah. You got to step into Brian's shoes.
My memory's not as good as yours, Brian.
Well, listen, all of you have a great evening. Keep up the great work, John. I will see you very soon. Ben, I will see you Sunday. And as always,
come on, you
sweet.
Yeah,
big up,
keep
Brian.
forgetting every
big
time.
Up.
Keep forgetting every time. I know.
Throws you off, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Because you know how we usually end our videos.
I know, but then he just curveball every time.
All right, let's go to Alex. Alex, how you doing, buddy?
It's not Alex. It's boy band. Is this?
He's got the same shirt on as you.
Yeah. Well, let's form a boy band, Alex.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
how you doing, mate?
How are you?
Very good.
Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Michigan.
Michigan.
Lansing?
No. North.
North of Lansing. Okay, all right, cool.
Talk to me, Alex. What did you think of the game today?
It was really good. I think that us controlling the ball and possession, all that stuff, was really good because we haven't been doing that lately. We've been, sitting back, trying to do the counterattack type stuff, but I think us holding possession and trying to grow into the game quicker probably will help us in the long run.
Do you not just think, though, that was partly down to the fact that the opposition was so terrible that they were just giving us the ball and it was like a training exercise?
Yes and no. I think that, weaker opposition will give you, more chances to, hold on to the ball. But at the same time, I felt like we had no spirit the last couple of games that, like, even if we had the possession or whatever, I think we probably would have, not been as good if we didn't have like the motivation to that we could actually do something. Because like Nuno said like in his press conference that like people were down and the mood was down and stuff like that. So like going into a game, you would hope that they would be up for it and stuff like that, even if we lost the way we did.
And how did you see the whole complexion of the game going? Because obviously we got the 2 goals up and then it appeared as though we sort of rested on that a little bit and allowed them to come back into it at the beginning of the second half. But is that a worry for you, or do you think we had it under control, or how did you see it?
I feel like there were spots. I feel like we were trying to do something, but I felt like our first touch let us down a lot. And so we turned over the ball. But I think if we can get our first touchdown and our secretness of like passes and stuff like that, I think if we can get that down, I think we would look a little bit better. Because I feel like sometimes somebody will make a run and then they won't pass the ball. They'll just like hold on to it and then they'll pass it backwards or they'll pass it sideways or something like that. So I think if we can.
No, sorry, carry on. No, carry on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just asking you, who do you think really stood out for you today on the pitch?
First half between Gil and Skip.
Okay.
Lo Celso was good. I'm a big fan of his. But like you said, like the wing is not really his spot. So like when he went center, he went better. He was like better, stuff like that. Defensively, Romero, he's so good. Like he was so calm. Like he was getting pressed and he was just like, bro, you ain't doing anything. Like I was like, okay, he needs to play more. Like he literally needs to play more. Like it's one of the things that I saw in the Arsenal game is that we freaked out when we got pressed, and he doesn't get freaked out when he gets pressed. It's weird. Like I don't know. Maybe it's a fresh of breath air that we have a player like that now.
He did freak out in the Wolves game though when they pressed us.
True, but at the same time, that was his first start since quarantine. Right?
Yeah.
Is he played, half right in Chelsea?
Yeah.
And then he played. Did he play the full in the Wolf?
He played full 90 against Chelsea.
Yeah.
I thought he got taken off for Sancho.
Oh, you might be right there. Did he get taken off that game, Romero? I think because he was cramping up with 20 minutes to go.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so maybe he knew that the opposition was weak and that's why he was so calm. But like most times he is pretty calm when it comes to pressing.
Yeah,
I think we need a lot of more players like that.
I'd agree with that, but I totally agree with that. The guy needs to be playing more for sure. But on the performance today, does anyone play their way into the team on Sunday?
Lo Celso, for sure. Skip needs to play again. That guy, he's just ruthless. Like, he doesn't really care who has the ball. He wants it back. Like, if we give it up, he runs crazy. So, like, I think those two for sure. I haven't really seen much of Aston Villa play, so I don't know. Well, I've watched the highlights of their first game, but besides that, I haven't really seen them play. So I don't know who really need to, like, put on the field to beat them. So that's my opinion.
Fair enough.
You can't let him go without...
Yeah, no, we can't. John, take it away, man. Take it away.
Alex, I don't know how far you go back in your Spurs history, but we're looking for an 11 of Spurs players that have had like an unbelievable European night, and to make it into our 11. And we've already got Bale at home, wasn't it? The home taxi for Maicon. It was.
Oh, was it? Was it?
Yeah, that one, the home one.
I thought it was the hat trick. Oh, either way, same.
So I don't know if you can remember some of our glory European nights. Which player from which game would fit into the 11?
And he can't be a left winger.
Yeah, it can't be Bale.
Okay, because I was going to say Son.
Can be Son.
It can be Son, but which game did you like, in the Champions League?
When we played the quarterfinals...
against Man City.
When it looked like it went out, and then he, like, held it up, like, in play, and then he scored, I was just like, bro, like, that's
okay, so we're gonna have to put him on the right side. Okay.
Well, we could put him up front. It depends what other players come in, because we can change the formation up. We haven't settled on a formation, have we?
Okay, all right. It's still
we could put
up for grabs at this moment.
We could maybe move Bale to left back.
But it has to be during that game what position he was in. I think that's kind of how it has to be done. You can't just, because you have to base it on the performance they put in that game. I think he was playing on the left, wasn't he?
Well, I mean, he was kind of on the left, but kind of half up front, playing on the last shoulder as well that game, wasn't he? Because we were very counter-attacking that game.
So why don't you say on the right, just for argument's sake, and maybe and say we can, if we need to, move him up, put him up front if someone goes on the right side.
Look, I know who's going to be going on the right in this game. It's not going to be Son.
All right.
Look, we know who's going to be going on the right in this game. Someone's got to call it at some point. But anyway, Alex, your pick is Heung-min Son. Thank you so much for coming on today, and we shall speak to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
Coming Spurs.
Come on.
Sorry about that, guys, again, but we're about to get Josh on. But just before we do, our team at the moment is Bale left wing and Sonny left wing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to be a very lopsided team, aren't we?
A little bit lopsided. Needs to be...
I think let's see what other players we get, and then we can work it out.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's
go to Josh.
Yeah, boys, how we doing?
All good, mate. How are you?
I mean... We won, I suppose. That's a start.
Yeah.
Nothing really to shout about. I think it was a. We have to be realistic. We played we played a team full of nobodies.
Yeah.
And to even take into consideration, we actually let them score a goal. Like we
what
gave them chances to score.
It was
a absolute peach of a goal. But if we were doing our jobs properly, they shouldn't have had the opportunities.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that.
And I think going into half time it was 2-1 at half time, wasn't it? Like we should have been 3 or 4-0 up against this team. There's not Giovanni Lo Celso for me was my man of the match again, but there's nothing really to shout about. He played the full 90 minutes. He played well. He turned up 60 minutes in, obviously when everybody else come on. But what I'm baffed about is why the likes of Mura, Son, Kane, all of them had to come on. I mean, I said in the pre-show, like I can understand if Harry Kane comes on because he needs to get a couple of goals just to get his confidence back. And he got a hat-trick, and hopefully from now on he starts to perform just a little bit better and actually works. He proves why he's worth the £160 million that Levy's put on him.
The thing is, Josh, though, like he played against Passos and scored 2 goals, and like he hasn't really shown up since then. So, is it really going to make a difference scoring a hat trick tonight against Mura?
I don't know. This is the thing. It's going to go one of 2 ways. We either play him and he plays well, or we play him and he just doesn't show up like he hasn't done the past couple of weeks.
I mean, what other options are there?
Lucas Moura is he's really not the only other option I can see.
Who would your front 3 be this weekend?
My front 3 would probably be. I'd have to go Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane, Moura, and Son. I think would be the front 3. Unless Son gets benched and then we play Gil.
I don't think you can bench Son. I don't think you can bench Son.
I don't think you can either. But I mean, even if it's a case of he starts and then he gets subbed off. But I do want to see Gil make it in the first team in some point in the near future, because I genuinely think he's a star in the making. Dane Scarlett for me, like. A bit of a love-hate performance today, because I was really excited for him to play, and I was really hoping he was going to make an impact, and he didn't really show up. And I get he's young, he hasn't really got the experience, and hopefully this is a learning curve for him. He comes away from this stronger and more experienced as to what he has been, and next time we play him, whether it be the next cup game or the cup game after that, like if we play him and if he performs well, then brilliant. If not, he's back to the drawing board. Dele Alli, on the other hand. Now, in the pre-show, I said, I think people are being too harsh on Dele Alli, but despite what I said, Dele needs to go.
Wow.
Like, the guy just does not give a rat's arse. And from what I can make out, I think Hull City are knocking. Like, he needs to go to Hull City or something. Like, that's the only option. He's not a Premier League footballer at all, is he? Let's be honest. Like, and if he is, he's probably bottom tier. Like we're talking, go to Burnley or something. He'll perform well there, but I don't think he's got any place in our team. Genuinely, he hasn't got any place.
So what's changed from the pre-match show to now? I know he's had a poor performance tonight. He
just didn't show up. Like I thought people were being too harsh on him. Like, and I thought he'd play up. I thought he'd actually play well.
You just said he should join Hull.
No, exactly. I thought with the captain's armband,
I get what you're saying.
For his monumental appearance, like you would have thought he would have played up and actually played well, but no, it's just proven time and time again now. I think this is the last straw for me. He's just proven that he just doesn't deserve to be on the pitch. Wow. Doesn't deserve to put on that Spurs shirt at all.
And, he just doesn't like. In the past, it kind of worked with Dele Alli because we were dominating the ball so much that it didn't really matter what he was doing, and he was just floating in and out, and he's like little flicks and tricks.
He also had Ericsson to provide for him then.
Yeah, but it's mainly the fact that we were camped out in the opposition's half. But now he's asked to do much more during the game and do much more of the legwork, and that's not his game. You can see him off the ball; he just doesn't have the pace.
So
he just doesn't have the pace
who's to blame for that? Who's to blame for that then? Because like, if we bring up the point that he hasn't got Ericsson to feed him in balls, who do we blame for his performances? Because it's not. I mean, we can only put so much blame on the manager, but ultimately, it's the player's job to perform well.
You can only put the blame on Dele for his actual performances, but for the kind of the way the team has deteriorated, you know who to blame.
That's you blame Levy. You blame Levy because he hasn't provided. I mean, Nuno isn't a long-term choice. We knew this when we first saw. He wasn't even our third. I think he was like our 9th pick.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
He's not a long-term solution. I don't know what we're going to do if we decide to sack Nuno, but I spoke to Brian in the back room before obviously the show started, and he said Eddie Howe, and quite frankly, I would take Eddie Howe over Nuno any day of the week. Right now, I just think he'd be better suited, and at least that way we'd play attractive football. But we're playing this 4-3-3 formation where it's so lackluster, and it's borderline mediocre. The way that we're playing, we're playing from the back all the time. It's just long ball after long ball after long ball. There's no build-up play.
Are we playing a dangerous game though? Let's say we do sack Nuno now, and then we get Eddie Howe. What happens if
This is the thing.
What happens if he has a poor 6 games to start
exactly.
with?
No, this is it. This is it. And I think Aston Villa is going to be the make or break. It's going to be like D-Day for Nuno. If we do not turn up against Aston Villa, P45 at the post. I genuinely think that's just how it's going to go. But Aston Villa, they've got Danny Ings, and we all know that Danny Ings against us is like kryptonite because he always manages to score.
Yeah.
He always manages to score, and we need someone that's going to score goals.
Yeah.
So the only solution I think we have to that is either Mura or Kane.
Yeah.
I just this is the thing that the last couple of weeks it's been very, very difficult to get behind the team when they're just performing like absolute pot. Like week in, week out.
This has been going on for a long time, though. Actually, if you look, it was happening under the tail end of the Poch era. If you take away the Champions League run, that was papering over the cracks because that last few months was actually we were dropping like a stone, even with Eriksen in there. You know, so it's not just for me. It's not just Nuno. There's an issue with the replacing the likes of Dembele and replenishing some of those players as well before him. Even Walker you could pin it down to as well. So do you not see it like that as well? Do you not see it as a personnel issue?
It is a personnel issue, and I think the personnel that needs to go the most is Enoch. Like we need a chairman that's going to actually invest. We need a chairman that's going to actually throw the book at a manager and make this promise that you can have £250 million a window. We need for someone like Tottenham. We cannot cut away from the fact that we are a big team. Right, we have got one of the best looking stadiums. We're one of the best run businesses in football. We are attractive to a lot of managers. If we were to throw the book at someone, but I know it's such a long way off. But if we were to throw the book at someone by the likes of like Brendan Rodgers or Jurgen Klopp, for example, someone of that kind of caliber, if we could if we could give them the conditions that make it attractive enough, we could have a decent manager and a decent squad and a decent running for the FA Cup, the League Cup, Europa. Let's say Europa League because the chances of us getting Champions League at the moment are very, very slim, and any other tournament in between. But for right now, we're stuck with Nuno, who's a ninth choice manager who plays this boring style of football, and we've got a chair and we've got a board who have got pockets deep enough for a scuba diver to dive into. Like it's just. It's one of them things. We're stuck in a dilemma, and I think as a fan base, we need to come together and make our voices be heard. And I think the more we do it, it's got to pay off sooner rather than later, surely.
But the thing is, like, I get you, and like, yeah, us and as a fan base do need to get our voices heard. But what steps do we need to do to get this to happen? Because ultimately, regardless of us football fans, even if we stop turning up, right, there's going to be other people, day trippers, people coming from abroad and stuff like that are going to come and take our seats. They're going to spend more money than us in the club shop. They're going to be spending more money than us.
This is what I'm saying. We turn more into a tourist club now. We're a tourist club.
And not only that, look how much money they're earning on Anthony Joshua. Look how much money they're earning on Lady Gaga.
By the way, I was working the security for that Anthony Joshua fight, and I'll tell you what, it was so poorly run because Tottenham didn't want to fund for the staff.
Really?
If they're not even funding for the staff, they're not going to fund for the players. They're not going to fund for the backroom personnel. They're not doing enough. We need a new board.
I agree.
Yeah,
completely agree.
That's the deepest issue. Yeah.
That's the deepest issue. That's what this all boils down to. What it boils down to is we're a poorly run club by a poor board.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Levy runs it for sustainability, not glory. That's basically what it is, No, exactly, if you want something that's going to keep you financially secure, he's the man. If you want to see us actually grow, take off, and actually win trophies, it will never happen under Levy. Agreed. And I'm sorry if people think it's going to happen at some point. We're getting there. We've got the stadium. I'm sorry, it's going to go another 20 years.
After the Amazon documentary, a lot of people were behind him.
Yeah,
because it made him look good.
Yeah, but I now can't. I don't see a world where that isn't a front.
He tailored that script.
I'm sure he sat in the post-production working with the editor, like clipping stuff together.
Him and Jeff Bezos go to the Maldives together, don't they?
There you go. Well, there you go.
Right. Tweedledum. Before you go, Josh, this is the most important bit. You need to get a player into our 11 from
Lucas
the European
Moura, 2019.
It's my one.
Well, there you go.
There you my one. Well done, Josh.
Lucas on the right then. He gets that spot on the right. And I knew someone had to bring it sooner rather than later.
It was the best performance of all time in the Champions League for us.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just us, in general.
Yeah.
In general.
No, exactly.
All right. Josh,
well done,
big
Josh.
up yourself.
Cheers,
Great
mate.
call.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Thanks for coming on, mate. See you, mate.
Bye, mate.
Good old Moura gets in there.
Yeah, of course. He had to get in there. So Mura is in there before Harry Kane.
Yes, come on.
So we got Mura, we got Son, we got Bale.
So Son has to play up front then, is he?
Well, look,
like
let's see who else we get. And we've got Cody Mack on next. Come on, Cody.
Cody, the beard is still there.
How you doing, Cody?
The beard is still here, much to my wife's chagrin.
Cody, what's happened? Because I swear you had a bet on with Will Stewart.
Yeah, Will Stewart had to shave his beard. So if you're looking for a laugh, there was a show that we did shortly after the League Cup game against Wolves. And Will, you'd have to watch it just to get it, but it's hilarious. he looks so funny. He looks like... let's see. Somebody said he looked like Bob Dole. Somebody said he looked like Matthew Perry. It was a wide range of people he was being compared to, but the beard lives on.
It does. It certainly does.
I thought you were going to shave half your beard off if it was going to be a draw, and it was a draw, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't a draw. We won.
We won on penalties, yeah. But Cody, look, 5-1 tonight against Mura. I mean, can you really read too much into it?
No, not really. I mean, obviously we can and we will. I think some of the things that were on display are just like you guys have discussed at length already. You know, the lack of squad depth. Just the fact that we've had to play Harry Kane in every Europa Conference League match except for the first one that he wasn't available for. You know, I'll go back to a tweet that I put out before the end of the transfer window, and I basically said, if you want us to compete in the domestic cups or the Europa Conference League, then you can't be satisfied with the window as is, because our squad, we don't have enough depth of scoring, which means in order to secure victories like we had to tonight, we're going to have to rely on the likes of Kane and Son, and eventually playing twice a week, those players are either going to fatigue, which I think we're seeing with Harry Kane already. You know, there was a big deal made about, he's got to build his fitness up. Well, he's played twice a week every week since he came in, essentially. And you know, there was a lot of criticism about a particular play on Sunday where, you know, he basically tripped over the ball and Arsenal went down the other end and scored, even though, you know, he was the man tracking back. And as much as you want to say, okay, is it commitment, is it fitness or whatnot, that just looked like a play made by a player who's already got tired legs, and we're not even into October yet. So exactly. It's very, very worrying.
Yeah, that's how I see it. It seems to be he's got a heavy touch in the final third that I've never seen before with Harry Kane. You know, he's getting the ball, but the touch is heavy, and then he's getting a little nudge, and he's falling over quite a lot. He's falling over a lot all over the pitch as well. He's not even shielding the ball well enough, which he used to do last year. He was brilliant, I thought, at that, actually. Thought he was holding the ball up a lot better and spreading passes. So there is, I think I can see that as well. He's almost looking like heavy-legged. Is that what you said, Cody, yeah? So you're seeing that?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am saying that, but I also think that we're just looking at Harry Kane through a completely different lens this year. You know, like the cape has come off the hero, so to speak. You know, everything that he does is being microanalyzed. Like if you watch any kind of games from last year or the year before, Harry Kane always jogs around the pitch. You know, he's always been that weak link in our press. You know, Harry Kane always falls over a lot. He always tries to buy fouls, and the fact that he hasn't put one in the net in the Premier League, you know, has everybody wondering if he's fully committed to Spurs. And of course, I think he's brought this on himself. You know, once everything that happened in the summer happened, it was always going to be this way. You know, everything was going to be, you know, microanalyzed, and it was always going to be questioned when he didn't perform. So, you know, we just have to hope that he begins to perform in the Premier League, because it is going to be one long season if we don't have a decent Harry Kane in the side. That's for sure.
Would you drop him for the weekend?
No, I don't think so. I honestly think I saw enough effort on his behalf. I mean, it's really hard to judge individual players in such a porous, disappointing performance that we had on Sunday. But no, I wouldn't be dropping him yet. No, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. What about start him, but if he has another shocker after 60, 70 minutes, do you think Nuno's got the balls to take him off?
Well, the thing is, he's been really close. What did he miss? 2 chances by less than 4 inches against Arsenal. The open header that he had. There's just such a little bit lack of sharpness, and that's been something that maybe historically we haven't seen it this bad. But he does tend to start the season slow, and he was well behind the pace when he arrived here, having arrived late and everything. And I don't want to make excuses for him because, he's brought on this kind of criticism. He's the one that's brought him on himself. I don't know what you do. I think if it persists after the international break, then you can start to tinker around with maybe changing a formation for sure, or if you have to sit him and bring him on like we did tonight, so be it. But I'm not ready to say that about him yet.
Who stood out for you tonight? Apart from Harry Kane's hat trick.
I didn't really watch the game. No,
just make something up.
I was kind of. The game started at 3 p.m. here, so if my boss is watching, I was 100% focused on my job. But from what I did see of the game, it looked like Gio had a pretty decent game. If you're going to take Harry Kane out of the situation, then I think Giovanni Lo Celso looked like he was pretty good. But man, I was just so shocked to see that Dele Alli was given the armband. I know that.
But who else was on there that could have given it? That could have got it.
I would have given it to Golini, or even honestly, I would have even given it to Oliver Skipp. Thing is, tell me what justification there is for making Dele Alli the captain of that side. If we're playing a preseason game at MK Dons, home club, everything, there's a story there. It's great, warms the heart. But what does Dele bring from a leadership perspective to this football club? Absolutely nothing. What does Dele Alli bring from a footballing perspective right now? I would argue very, very little. Is that who you want leading the side, right? If there was nobody else suitable to be captaining that side, then we probably should have had someone else in there other than the players that started. It just made me sick,
It's because he's the senior player, though. He's the oldest player in that starting lineup. I think that's why they did it.
And he's been here the longest as well.
Look, I'm your captain. How do you feel about me? You know what I mean? No, it's just I'm just fed up with Dele, and I felt like it was just another stunt in a long line of stunts that is trying to revive Dele Alli, the player. And I'm sorry, that version of Dele Alli is never coming back in my eyes. Not at Tottenham. And he was the beneficiary of some incredible players that surrounded him at the time that he broke into the league and had his. But it's been literally the last time that Dele Alli was a lethal player for Tottenham, I had no kids, and my wife was not pregnant. And now I have a 3.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and Dele Alli still is not lethal for Tottenham. So it's been way longer, and I know that he's got a lot of fans that love him to death, and I will always love Dele Alli, but I'm sorry, he just can't be a starter for this club anymore. We would get more value out of putting out a younger player that can benefit from the experience, get exposed to Premier League competition, learn from making mistakes. I mean, I just don't see how a young player even an Alfie Devine brings less to the table than Dele Alli does right now. It's just I'm done with Dele. Yeah.
There's an article that came out from The Athletic, I think it was today, talking about the kind of lack of patterns of play, in training, in the team and stuff like that. The players are getting really worried. I mean, is that what you're seeing on the pitch? And how do we kind of work around that if Nuno's not coaching this into the team? And how long is he actually going to last if this is actually the case?
Well, I mean, this is all just speculation on our part. We can sit here and talk about what we think is going on.
But what are you seeing is what I'm saying.
We don't really. What I'm seeing is, I'm seeing a manager who has a particular style of play, a particular formation that he is used to and comfortable with. He's been brought in and there's been opposing forces working against one another in terms of his hiring, in Paratici wanting to bring in a pragmatic manager and having to provide Daniel Levy with assurances, because Levy, I swear to God, every time that guy opens his mouth, he ends up with his foot stuck in it, because why on earth he could have just kept his mouth shut about this attacking play. Like, of course it would be nice to be watching exciting football. As Tottenham fans, it's part of our history. It's part of our ancestry. It's what we all yearn to see, especially after, a year and a half of watching Jose Mourinho. But you hired Fabio Paratici to take over the footballing decisions of this club. So he should be allowed to make the decisions and decide the direction of the club. And if that involves hiring a pragmatic manager and playing pragmatic football, then so be it. But right now, I see a manager who's trying to fit a square peg in a round hole with this 4-3-3 that doesn't suit his instincts. It doesn't suit his strengths as a manager. The players aren't buying into it. And we're totally getting embarrassed. We're getting embarrassed. And tonight doesn't really salve any of the wounds that we suffered on Sunday in the game against Arsenal. It just was way, way too easy in a North London derby, and it was a complete capitulation. There was a lack of organization, there was a lack of fight, a lack of heart, lack of commitment, and it doesn't bode well for Nuno right now. He needs to get a positive result, and he needs to look good doing it, because right now the media are just, they're circling like carrion birds around our slowly rotting corpse, and every chance they get, they're picking off stories and leads and leaks about, this is like, we're already where we were with Jose in February last year. We're at the point that we were at with Jose after 16 months, and we're already there after 2 months with Nuno. It's really frustrating, because it's not that we can't afford to sack him, but sacking him isn't necessarily helping us out either. Because, I mean, if you were up for a managerial position and you knew that there was precedent, that you had 6 games to turn a club around in the state that we're in, would you want to come and work that job? Absolutely not. For people who are saying, oh, we should go get Potter and everything, he didn't want to come in the summer. He's not going to want to come now. Levy didn't want to pay for him in the summer. He's not going to want to pay for him now. Even Gallardo from River Plate has been quoted as saying it's not the right time to go there, because guess what? The state of the squad, the state of the footballing side of this organization has created a poison chalice for the managerial position. Anyone that comes here is going to regret it. And Nuno, I think, you can already see it kind of written on his face. But I don't want to be all doom and gloom, I guess, but
I think those are two different
you're normally so jovial, Cody.
I do think those are two different situations, though. I think Graham Potter was the one who rejected us because he didn't want to tarnish his reputation, apparently. That's what Matt Law said. And Gallardo, he rejected us because he wanted to run out his River Plate contract, which expires in December. So he actually could be a viable option moving into the future, and I think actually he'd be a pretty damn good option as well if we were to go for him. But look, I don't want to talk about future managers, because if Nuno does get sacked, we're going down a very, very dangerous path, aren't we, Cody?
Yeah, it's Ryan Mason time. That's all that's the only thing that's gonna happen. You're already seeing a lot of fans, because a lot of fans will defend former players and players that came through our system, like Ryan Mason, to the death. It doesn't matter. They can kind of do no wrong. They're above criticism, and I understand that. So like there's already a large subsection of Spurs fans that are calling for Nuno to be out because Ryan Mason played a little bit more of an attacking style. But you know what? I'm sorry, this squad is worse from an attacking standpoint than we were last year. We lost attacking players and we did not replace them. We did not bring in one Premier League proven player into the midfield or into the front three, and it's really showing so far, especially in the last 3 games in the Premier League. We look absolutely toothless.
I mean, we had a far better squad this time last season, in my opinion.
We did. We've regressed in terms of the personnel in our squad. That's a fact.
It was far stronger this time last season, and the fact that he hasn't, we're just treading water. No, we're less than treading water. This time.
Because at least last year, the fringe players like Carlos Vinicius, Gareth Bale, they could do jobs in these games. We don't have anyone on the fringe that can do jobs in these games.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Listen,
where's it coming from?
I said it in the summer. I got a lot of heat for it about the lack of scoring depth, Premier League proven scoring depth. It's on full display, and on top of that, I think we're in a situation now where the only way that we have a shot at winning a trophy this year is going to be by resting Kane and Son in the Premier League. Like eventually, it's just going to become apparent that we have no chance of finishing in a Europa League spot, and our best path to Europa League is going to be winning the Conference League. And I don't know if that's something that the Tottenham hierarchy are going to allow. I don't know if it's something that whoever is managing at the time will have the balls to do, but it's looking more and more like our best path to the next level up in Europe is going to be by winning this competition. And I don't think we can win it if Kane and Son are playing every week in the Premier League and being relied upon, because the teams are going to get tougher eventually. It's disgraceful, the state of the squad, and that comes down to the board and the ownership, Daniel Levy, and Paratici's not absolved of responsibility either, because he's the one that brought in these 18 to 23-year-olds, and none of them started against Arsenal. Why are we spending all this money on players? Arsenal, we laughed at their window, but they had 3 players starting that they purchased in the summer. They had Martin Odegaard, they had Tomiyasu, and they had Ramsdale, all making impacts in the Premier League immediately, and we seem to be relatively inept at buying players that can do that for us, and it's been a problem for quite some time. Basically, it's been a problem since Paul Mitchell left, and it's not getting better right now.
Absolutely spot on.
Let's finish on a high.
Yeah, exactly. Let's finish on something positive. Let's remember.
Okay,
have you got one in your head?
Positive.
Go on.
I've got something positive. I want to say hello to Grandpa, because I've noticed, as I'm sure everybody that views this channel, that Grandpa hasn't been coming on and doing his cameos after the games and everything. And I'm not, but in no way am I pressuring Grandpa to start making his appearances on We Are Tottenham TV. But I did want to say I absolutely miss having your input on the show and your wisdom and your humor. And I hope everything is well with you. And I just wanted to make sure he knew that I, in particular, definitely miss his presence in the show.
Well, I'll give you the answer to that about his whereabouts and stuff like that. So he's been going to all the home games. So he's been in the stadium when this show starts, so he can't come on them. The away games, I mean, he has wanted to come on, and he will be coming on back again very soon for the away games, but he's away currently right now. I think he gets back today or tomorrow. So after he gets back, he'll be back in action. So don't you worry about that.
Well, I'll be looking forward to it. Now, do you guys have a full team yet, or what?
No.
We want a team for you.
What we need.
We've got 3 players at the moment. We've got Gareth Bale against Inter Milan. We've got Heung-min Son against Man City, and we've got Lucas Moura against Ajax.
Oh, is this just an 11 based on Champions League?
Europe.
Any European game.
Any European game. Oh, see, I thought we were just doing any player in the Premier League era.
Let's put you on the spot, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me see here. So you've got Bale.
We've got Bale, Lucas Moura, and Son in the Man City game.
Oh, man.
You can text it to us if you need to, and you can just stroke your
beard
a bit longer.
I had a whole list of players, and none of them were.
Oh no!
Put it in game wrong, Cody.
Put it in the chat section, and I'll be reading that, and I'll call that your player out.
Okay, all right. You guys take care.
All right. Well done, Cody.
Cody. Brilliant call, mate.
Great call, dude. Great call.
Big up, Cody.
That was passion there.
Yeah, 100%.
Right there from
Pure
Cody.
passion from Cody Mack.
Pure passion.
Let's go to Phil. How's it going, Phil? Phil? Is he frozen?
Phil?
Evening all. How are you doing?
Oh, there he is.
A bit of a lag on you, Phil.
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. That's better. How are you, Phil? You good?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, not too bad. I was pleased you did the steak recipes halfway through, because that kept me going.
How do you like your steak, Phil?
Bits were just... And then your film titles during the second half, that was just quality. So
there was some good ones, weren't they? Did you contribute any of those?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What was your one?
Unlethal weapon.
Unlethal weapon. That's good. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah. So, what do you think about today then? Was it a bit of an unlethal weapon?
Well, we scored 5.
Yeah, 5. I know, it's funny, isn't it? But you think it didn't feel that way, did it? For most of the game.
No, I thought it was all right, and I didn't think for the game it was, his team selection still seemed a bit strong. But it's again, I'm harping on about this all the time, but it's the formation he plays. Like, I still couldn't tell you where Dele Alli was. Whereas if you went back to what was our tried and tested, your 4-2-3-1, it's clearly obvious which of the two. You'd have Skippy and Harry Winks protecting the back four, and then you'd have the 3 or 4 sort of up front. But it's just, I don't really know where Dele was. He kind of drifted in, lost the ball, drifted out. It just, I don't know. I genuinely don't know where he was. And I suppose my big challenge is who's picking that formation, because I've read in places that it's Paratici that's playing that, because he never played that at Wolves, did he?
No, I heard when Nuno first came in that Paratici, well, before Nuno came in, that Paratici was looking for a manager that wanted to play 5 at the back.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we've tried 5 at the back, and I've never seen us with a good performance. Yeah, you probably have got the players to do it now, but I don't know. But whatever they do, they've got that this 4-3-3 just does not suit the personnel that we have, and I think Sunday clearly highlighted that. But you know, by a small little switch, I think you could do better. But whether he does do the 5 at the back or the 4 and stick with, you know, a different method, I don't know. But it does feel for me he's way out of his depth.
Interesting. I mean, do you think we needed to make those changes when we did, to bring Kane, Mura and Son? Did we need all of them on the pitch today?
If we were 2-0 down, you know, then yeah, quite right, he had to do that. But, you know, you wonder about Dane Scarlett and his confidence, because I put a couple in the chat, but you would like to think that he may have certainly had a couple of chances if he had those two sort of either side, because, you know, the chances were there. They just came creating, didn't they? But, you know, he's going to have gone off on 60 minutes thinking, I did all right. I gave it my go, you know, gave it a good go. But, you know, manager hasn't got any faith in me. He's brought on Harry Kane and Son and Mura, and it's like, it just wasn't needed. And like you say, can you imagine if any of those 3 got injured and were ending up missing the weekend? It's like he's got enough riding on it, I think, Sunday.
Well, that happened in the Rennes game, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was loads of injuries in that. Loads of people took knocks. Bergwijn got injured in that. I think Sonny took a knock, didn't he? Mura as well. Yeah, it was a risk, wasn't it, that we probably didn't need.
No, it's just, you know, there just feels a certain inevitability that, you know, he's not going to last that much longer. It's just how long and what happens in between. But it's just going to make the club look more of a laughing stock than they do. But especially the board, isn't it? Because they faffed around for God knows how long last summer to try and bring someone in. Eventually found someone, you know, and to have to start that again sort of now, or whether they're even looking now. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, all the noises you're hearing from the press, you know, that article from The Athletic, I mean, we've heard it all before, and it's happened under Poch, it's happened under Mourinho, and they both ultimately ended up getting sacked. I mean, it does feel like it's going that way already, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, those somebody needs to be speaking to these you know, so-called first team, you know, role model players, because they to me, they seem anything but role models. You know, it's like, turn up, get your money, go home. Doesn't matter what kind of feeling. I wonder how bad they felt Sunday night, because the majority of us, it was just like the worst day possible. But, you know, for them, do they really care? Genuinely, do they care?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And like, it's still hurting me so much. That Sunday performance still hurts me so much. And I'm seeing like these pictures that Spurs social media are putting out with all the players laughing in training. And I'm like, do you guys care at all about how us fans are feeling right now? Because literally, like, 3-0 to Palace, 3-0 to Chelsea, 3-1 to one of the worst Arsenal sides we've ever seen. Yeah. Like, did they even? I don't even know.
There was no
if
heart.
care.
There's absolutely no heart in that team.
I think I put in there the other day, I think on Sunday, it's like, if any of you at the Tottenham side pick up their wages after this, then surely the fraud squad are going to come in, because it's like, how can you get paid for that?
I mean, they should offer every single fan that went to that game a refund to the Arsenal game. That's what they should do.
And for the rest of us, for those of us that had to watch it, because
exactly, they should compensate you for your time.
For showing the game, but no, I did, and you sit through it, and you're like, what are you doing? Why are you putting yourself through this? Because let's face it, 5 minutes in, we all knew what the result was going to be. Yeah. You were looking for some positives on the day. My positive was that we got it back to 3-1, which actually on paper didn't look too bad. That could have been 5-6.
Exactly.
Sugarcoated it, didn't it?
Oh, shocking.
Yeah. All right,
shall we do the business?
Your player for the team, European, well, not European player, but a performance in a European match for Tottenham. Yeah. So far, we've got Son, Bale, and Mura.
I'm going Graham Roberts, 1984 equaliser in the UEFA Cup.
Love that. Nice. Love that. All right, so we got a defender in there.
Finally. Yeah. An old school one as well. Good
Is
stuff.
He going to be the captain?
Yeah,
that's a good captain.
He was captain that night, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it's quality. So
fantastic. All right, well done. You're in there. You got yourself in there. Well done, Phil.
Cool. All right,
see you soon, Phil.
Guys, speak to you soon.
Yeah, cheers. Big up.
Are we going to do one as well?
Yeah, let's see how many we get from the corners. We'll do ours at the end.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Nice.
All right, let's get Amir on. Amir, have you got our stream playing on the background, because we can hear? And you're on mute as well, I think. While you're there.
Could you do anything more wrong here?
No, I got lost in the chat with Jack there for a bit, talking about falafel and hummus and what.
Fair enough.
Very good. So talk to me, Amir. How do you think the game went today?
First half was okay. We did all right. Hill was doing very well. Scarlett, he's still finding his way in the first team. I'm sure he'll get there. He needs a bit more time, and he's obviously very young. Obviously, we brought the big boys on in the second half, and then that just killed the game.
Did we need to do that?
So I was a bit shocked when you put the three of them on. At that time, I was like a bit, But I guess Nuno wanted to kill the game, and he's the boss. And at the end of the day, it was a good decision, right? We won the game 5-1. And I think, Kane being on the bench and coming off, that's a good sign for us, going into some very, very important games against Villa, Newcastle, and obviously West Ham coming up as well away. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I did think he could have maybe given some of the other younger players a little run out. But all in all, it was a good day. We can't complain after the last bloody 3 losses that we.
Do you know what? Maybe we just need to play Kane as an impact sub. Clearly the
well, his 2 best performances.
Clearly the exactly.
And today,
clearly the formula is working. So, but who did you think had a good game? Who was the man of the match for you, Amir?
Ooh, it's a tricky one. That's a very, very tricky question. Until Hill went off, I'd probably give it to him, because he was very inventive. He can basically keep the ball without, with so much ease. He can just go past players. I haven't really seen a player that can just do that.
But it's funny you say that, because Amir, Ben, you thought he was having a poor game, didn't you? Yeah. I actually thought he had a good game, and we had a little kind of dispute in the studio here. But I actually thought, even though he wasn't very effective, and I could see what they were saying about, maybe some heavy touches, but he really looked like he wanted it, and he was really trying to make something happen with Dele Alli. But I thought he was good.
In my opinion, looking like you want it is not enough to warrant a good performance.
No, I'm saying he was showing that he wanted it by getting him in between the lines, picking up the ball, trying to create a little 1-2. But he was so much faster than Dele Alli at times that he wasn't getting it back, and so it was sort of the move was sort of ending. I felt
at times Hill was maybe trying a bit too hard today, and it kind of worked against him a bit.
How can you try too hard?
When you're a bit over exuberant and it just doesn't work out for you sometimes, when you're just going full pelt at 100 miles per hour, when you just need to calm it down a bit and concentrate on the game a bit more.
Maybe.
There's something in what Ben's saying there, but I'm with you, John. I think he was doing wonderful things off the ball. And I think that, look, if Kane had started and Song on the other side, the game would have been different completely, and maybe Hill would have been way more effective. We do have this Dele Alli issue, right, of him. It's not really his fault. Like, he's being played out of position. Obviously, his poor performances and his, last lackadaisical last couple of seasons with us, it's up to him. But he's being played completely out of position. I don't know what position he was playing today. I couldn't tell you. And I think Nuno really needs to figure that out, because it's all well and good going against Slovenian Mura, but against Villa and West Ham and these lot, we got to up our game seriously.
Yeah, definitely. We got a super chat. Let me discuss it with you, Amir, while you're here. And it's from Rewi Quintal. It says, Nuno was fighting for his job today. That's why he brought on the big guns. Had we have drawn or lost, Nuno would have been all but gone. Do you agree with that?
I don't know if all but gone. Let's say Mura had got another one back, 2-2. We would have drawn that. It's not the worst. It's not the worst thing that could have happened in this Europa, third division, if you like, conference. I don't know if you'd be sacked. Like, it's a bit harsh. After 6 games, I think we are very reactionary as fans, and it is something that we need to look at ourselves.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, 6 games. Like I said before on one of the shows, Fergie nearly got sacked in his first season at United.
Poch as well.
Poch as well, exactly. So the guy does need some time to figure things out. Obviously, time is of the essence, and he needs to start getting the results in the Prem. That's the main focus. It has to be until the FA Cup starts, and then he's quite a good cup manager. So hopefully we can go on a good run. I would love to see us get to the final of the FA Cup this season and hopefully bring it home, because Lord knows we just need some joy down at the Lane, and we need to bring a trophy back to that beautiful, beautiful stadium that we've built,
Law of averages, Amir? Amir, we're asking everyone to provide us with a player that's had a big night in Europe for Tottenham Hotspur. So far, we've got a team of Graham Roberts in defence, Lucas Moura, Heung-min Son, and Gareth Bale against Inter Milan. Who are you putting in there?
Do you know what? I'm going to go with a strange one, lads. I'm going to go with Pavlyuchenko.
Pavlyuchenko, Against who?
Yeah, Pavlyuchenko. Do you remember at the Lane when he scored against Inter and he just killed the game off? I loved him for that.
So you're going another player from the same game then, is that?
Yeah, so same game. Inter Milan at home.
Taxi for Maicon.
Yeah, 3-1. Well, that taxi for Maicon, that was one of my best nights actually. We were down at the Bricklayers having a few pints, and wow, brilliant. The whole Lane was buzzing. You had, the atmosphere. I can't even explain it to people.
It was rocking that night, wasn't it? It was one of the best atmospheres I've seen at the Lane,
Ever. And all the locals, in Tottenham were all out celebrating. It was just, it was brilliant. It was really brilliant. But lads, just before I go, can I just give a quick plug to my channel, the Open Peace podcast. We're out here in Israel, just trying to bring Israelis and Palestinians together, building dialogue, building discussions. And it'd be great if, we could get some of the Spurs family and the We Are Tottenham boys behind the channel, and,
All girls,
yeah, anyone. We really need your support to help push for peace in the Middle East. And come on, you Spurs, on to Villa now.
All right, big yourself up, Amir.
Cheers, Amir.
Thanks for coming on,
mate. Take it easy, lads. Take it easy now. Bye-bye.
All right, so how many we got? We've got 5 in our team.
I like that bit of a left field shout. I like that.
Pavlyuchenko.
Yeah. So how are we going to formulate the forward line?
It's a difficult one.
Should you have Moura tucked in and then put Son on the right?
Moura number 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he a lot of his goals came through the middle, you know what I mean?
I like that.
In the centrally,
so
didn't they, that game?
centre back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moura on the middle, number 10. Sonny on the right.
Yeah.
Who was on the left? Gareth Bale on the left.
Yeah.
Pavlyuchenko up top.
Yeah. So that kind of works.
So we need 2 midfielders, 1 goalkeeper, a left back, a centre back, and
we've still got a long way to go.
A long way to go. And let's bring on the Jorical. I'm sure he can provide us with some
gaps.
Come on. Jory, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, guys. How about you?
Yeah, all good, all good. 5-1 tonight against Mura. Are you basking in the glory of the massive victory tonight?
Oh yeah, there's nothing like the glory of the Toto Cup, eh?
Exactly, exactly. How did you read the game, and how much can you read into these kind of games?
So I think there was a lot to be read into it. Actually, I think the last caller got it right with Nuno kind of fighting for his job, even though it might not be it might not be his day of execution, but it's close enough, and also beyond that, like in terms of the substitution, I think Nuno, man management wise, did a great job tonight. I think I can understand the logic by having Dele as the captain. He is the senior player. He is trying as much as a Dele will ever try. When he got subbed off, I don't know if you
he looks upset.
He was pissed.
He always does, though, doesn't he?
Yeah. So he's way too snowflakey. You just need to give up on these types. You can't you can give them a little bit, but not like we've been overbearing now with Dele and wanting him to come into his new role and if this is all it takes to kind of get a negative response out of you, then you're not much of a fighter, and that's what we want basically. So but like subbing on the three big guns, I thought was kind of brilliant, to be honest, because we're not thinking about Aston Villa. We're thinking about avoiding a complete meltdown here. We're thinking about just getting some kind of mojo, some kind of team spirit going again, and getting these big boys to play a little bit together is a very good way to do it, I think. Kane is not in form. He's far from his form. He needs the time. He needs the touch with the ball. He needs more than training right now. And I would rather that he kind of gets up to scratch in these types of games rather than the Premier League games where it's going to cost us dearly. For each point we lose. So I thought Nuno did a great job tonight. I did think Lo Celso did a good job, but what I don't like about Lo Celso, I still saw plenty of that, like weak on the ball, a lot of very complicated passes that didn't have a good enough touch. He lost the ball. Like the other team could have had two more goals in my view. One of them was completely Winks. I mean, do we have to talk about Winks anymore? I mean, I'm so tired of this guy. It's unbelievable how bad this guy is, really. And he was anonymous. That's the best you can get for Winks. And when you noticed him, he was the main actor in some calamity, which I've heard almost nobody talk about it, but I am mostly, especially in this game, I was watching more Romero's positioning and movement, and the man is on another level when it comes to discipline and tactical. Like, you can see that he's been in a real tactical team like Atalanta. He's completely on another level, and he's already starting to kind of command the lower half of the pitch. He's giving them orders already, and that's going to be something that we can really build from, I think. I thought Roden was very good as well.
Apart from when he tried to dribble it out and we nearly lost the goal there.
Yeah, but this is also like, if you're going to make mistakes, my big thing is, do you have any credit for your mistakes, and Roden does, Dele has been maybe, adding a little bit of a credit onto his account with his work rate, but it went like that with the frowning when he got subbed off. It was clear that the system was stale. He should be senior enough to understand that Nuno just needs to mix it up now. It's clear that it's all about Dele in that regard. I thought the pass that Lucas gave Kane was world class. It was so
now
precise.
You're speaking John's language.
It was a world class pass.
It was world class. I mean, it couldn't have been a millimeter to either side. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
And I think we have a big, like, the closest thing we're gonna get in this decade to replacing Eriksen is convincing our club and Lucas that he needs to be our new 10, our new playmaker. And like, the big problem is really that Lucas maybe hasn't fancied himself in that role. He wants to score the goals himself as well, which is fine to a degree. But, if we can get him to focus on assists, he's going to be next level, I think. But it's a big if, of course. I think, like, I saw good things. I thought Gil had a fine game and all that. I was happy that Kane could get this hat trick because he needs it. But he's clearly burned out. I'm really, really worried that he both his kind of he was playing for a contract last season. He was probably going all out, both playing wise and training wise. And maybe he doesn't have it in him now. Like, at least it's gonna probably take many months for him to find the motivation to get back to it. So yeah, I'm worried about him, and I don't think we should not be scared of subbing him. I think I would rather bring Kane back as a super sub. Both build his confidence and completely tear up stalemate games and so on with bringing him up. He can be very effective like that. I think it's important that we play this three up front high pressing style that Nuno, which is natural to Nuno anyway. So I think it's important we should do that. If Kane doesn't quite fit in, well, we need to find a new role there. But in terms of everything, guys, like, I've heard a lot of guys talk about Nuno out and whatever. Like, we need to take it in the right order. First of all, we have a very broken and almost toxic culture in our club. Then downstream from that, then we have a ownership and a board that's completely messed up, which we need to do something about. And then we get to manager, and then we get to the squad. We need to look at it in the right order. I'm sure the people that are Nuno out now were also Potts out, were also Mourinho out, and so on. So, check yourself. Look at your own part, the part that you're playing yourself. In this reactionary bullshit. If you want to be reactionary, focus it at the board, at Levy, at the lack of investment, at this kind of financial capture that we're situated in right now. One of your earlier callers said that we're a tourist club. Every big brand in the Premier League is a tourist club. That's the business model. That's why the investors are there. It's for the global appeal. Yeah. So that tells us okay. That tells us what the game is about for them. So that's your recipe for how to get their attention. Hurt the brand, and you will get their attention. So and how you do that specifically, there's many ways, but the people have done this with success before. So just find a model that you think is practical to implement and follow it. But in general, I just want, even if we don't do anything, I think at least we should own up to our own part in this, and Nuno out might be true in the sense that he's not the manager that's going to do this or that or whatever, but it's just so far down the line from what we're dealing with right now. And I'm talking in terms of next game and whatever. With the main impact on the Aston Villa game is Levy and his decisions. The main impact on the game after that is still Levy and his decisions, and so on. So we need to keep a focus on that. If we think that maybe adding this player could actually help us with this and that, maybe changing to this manager, fine, that's a conversation to be had, but not after 6 games or 6 weeks or whatever we're into Nuno's tenure. You know, we need to at least have the self-respect of showing this man like that he can get a real shot at doing his thing, you know. So even though I'm skeptical myself with his tactical, you know, to be honest, at this point I think the only guys at Mourinho's level could tactically, you know, deal with our squad and club as it is, you know. I don't know, not many like Pep and Mourinho and Klopp and so on might be able to give us better result by tactical magic, but that's not even gonna get us over the fence. You know, we need more than that, of course. So
completely agree. Absolute facts there from Jory. Absolute facts. Just before we let you go, we need to get a player off you. A player that's had a big European night for Tottenham. We're looking for either a left back, a centre back, a right back, a goalkeeper, or or a central midfielder.
Okay.
You want to know the team so far, or you know it?
I heard it before. Okay, so I have to go with Jan against Dortmund.
So that's left back. Jan was left back that night.
Yeah.
Absolutely
he was
brilliant.
Yeah, so that's fine. That fits in.
That fits in. Absolutely brilliant performance that from Jan Vertonghen, marauding down that left-hand side. Brilliant. Absolutely stunning performance.
I have to say, though, that being said, Lucas Moura owns more European glory than the rest of the club combined. So let's.
Jory,
he's on a pedestal by himself for me.
He's just the best caller ever, isn't he? Jory, you're speaking my language, my friend. You're speaking my language.
I know, John.
Not only that, but Kane should be a super sub as well.
I know, the super sub, that's what I say as well. God, dear, oh dear. Jory, you are...
2 peas in a pod, Jory.
Yeah,
2 J's.
We're going to go for a couple of pints once I get over there.
That'd be great,
JJ, love it. Jory,
thanks, mate.
Absolutely brilliant call. Thank you so much for coming on.
Great job.
See you soon. Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
See you, Jory.
Love that, man.
So let's rerun this team now.
Yeah.
Jan Vertonghen left back.
Yeah.
Graham Roberts centre back. No midfielders. Son on the right. Yeah. Lucas in the middle. Bale on the left, and Pavlyuchenko up top.
Yeah, a bit of a left field shout, Pavlyuchenko, but I like that. I like the little avant-garde answers as well.
All right, and if you've got a name called Chenko at the end of your name, this next guy is really gonna love it. And the name is Jack Konecki. Jack, how's it going, man?
Is maybe what I would like to be one day, but I would say
Kapachenko.
Good shout, Jory, because he just that was my pick, was Jan. I just thought of immediately of the Super Jan celebration and whatnot. So I'll try to think of it maybe by the end, hopefully. But honestly, great shout for Jan Vertonghen, especially can play left back as well.
Well, we'll get your pick at the end of the call. We'll give you a bit more time to think about
I was just saying, I was really riling over it. I was just like, oh my God, I didn't think anybody would think of that one, especially my generation.
Well, so everyone in the queue now waiting to come on, please have 2 in mind, just in case we catch you out, all right?
It's starting to run out.
Yeah.
But Jack, give me your assessment of the game today.
To be honest, I was really disappointed because even though I said in the pre-match pump-up that I'd be satisfied with 2-0 by halftime, it came so quickly that maybe I got a bit spoiled, and then started to realize that, this isn't really very pretty football to watch. I mean, we went up so quickly that maybe we went into cruise control a bit too early, potentially, and just wanted to play it out from there and expected more goals to fall in. And then all of a sudden we got smacked 2-1 and then it just got a bit existential there for a moment and started to maybe question everything with Nuno again, started to question everything with the players again. And, of course we had to bring on maybe the guard that we maybe call them at this rate, to protect us from having another embarrassment of any sort. So
do you know what, Jack?
It's kind of a mixed reaction for me, actually, I would say.
Do you know what, Jack? The camera focused on Nuno when they scored their only goal, and he did look very nervous. You could see it in him. He looked a little bit like, what am I going to do? Do you think that he brought
the piece as well?
Yeah, do you think he? Well, I mean, to be fair though, it was a bit of a worldie, wasn't it? Yeah. Do you think he brought the big hitters on to kind of save face, to kind of save his reputation a little bit, or do you think that actually was a deliberate move for the best of the game, or do you think that was sort of he was doing it for himself a little bit?
To be fair to Nuno, I think anybody would have done that. If I was in that position, I probably would have done that as well. Just because at the end of the day, they were a team that I think won the Slovenian. I think it's called like the Priva Liga or something. They won the league last season by like 1 goal differential. Now this season they're like sitting 5th or 6th, I think, in the table for that league. Just when I checked it up before the pre-match bump up, and kind of think about it, they're weirdly a Slovenian team that's a bit out of form, which we know is a bit of a low bar, a bit of a low ceiling. So when you put it in that terms, I think anybody would kind of think like, well, if these players, aren't being able to put up a good performance or maybe a smacking, you might say, against this side, then I got to bring in the big guns and, maybe save face a bit. And that would be, I think that'd be the case if Nuno wasn't maybe having a bit of pressure on him. I think I would do that. Let's say I was, even undefeated at that rate, I'd probably still do that and, bring on some players to be fair to him.
I mean, did anyone really stand out for you, or in terms of playing themselves into the squad for the weekend, or the starting lineup for the weekend?
I thought to a degree, and I kind of embarrassingly said I don't know what a Lo Celso is anymore, and Gio absolutely proved me wrong. Like I thought, what did he have? He had that spectacular finish, which I think we're probably not remembering, to a degree. I think that was an unbelievable finish that he had. I think he made the most of that. Didn't really think that was going to be a real chance of sorts. I thought he was going to square it across the 6 or, do something that, just the way he finished that, just confidently to a degree with such venom as well. Like, I really give him credit. I think he also had about 3 assists maybe on top of that. I could be wrong, but at least even some of the Harry Kane goals were at least a pass to an assist, you would say, as well. So some of the balls he was putting in behind on the floor, on the carpet, were unbelievable. So I would actually give Gio, he kind of proved me wrong. I think he kind of, any doubts I had towards Gio, maybe earned a bit of credit back with me. And I would say Gio is somebody that, we've been kind of thinking about who's going to take that third midfield position. It's been Dele the whole time along Højbjerg and Skippy. It's been Tanguy now recently as well. I think Gio, to a degree, really, in my opinion, played the best game he possibly could, if you ask me. So I would say Gio, actually, you can't deny that. A goal and like 2 or 3 assists as well. I mean, maybe had a scary moment here and there, but it was a pretty unreal, production when you think about it. And he proved he was above that level, I would say, compared to other players.
For me, Lo Celso's a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. Like, when he's got space on the ball and he can thread the passes through, he looks great. But then I do think he's just too lightweight. I just see him get knocked off the ball too easily. He's sort of got the same sort of stature, same kind of frame as Winks. Do you know what I mean? It just, sometimes he can be a little bit overrun as well. If the game goes a little bit physical, and he can seem a little bit too diminutive. That's my new word for a small player.
Do you think, though, that that's only come in since these injury problems have occurred? Because he wasn't like that when he first broke into the team.
Was he? I'm trying to think back.
He was grabbing games by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, he was grabbing games with the scruff of the neck. But in that first half, I noticed he looked a little bit too lightweight, and I'm worried that in a Premier League game, if he comes straight back in this weekend, my prediction would be that he would look a little bit too frail and underwhelming, a little bit too lightweight, and then he'll be hauled off. And then Ndombele would come in, if that's what's going to be the switch.
It's a strange one with
Nuno's
Gio.
got to pick who he trusts at this rate, right, guys? He's got to pick who he trusts, and maybe after that performance, he might trust Gio. And
does he even trust 11 players in our squad, Jack?
Who I think we see a lot in this chat. We see Paul Markey a lot in this chat, as well as the Irish Hotspurs. And he enlightened me a bit on maybe some of the Real Betis days, as well as the PSG days. And he said Gio is weirdly more comfortable in like a number 6 or a number 8. But then, like what John was saying, like, is he maybe strong enough, big enough, even, let's say, just mentally strong enough even to play that position in the Premier League? Maybe not so sure, but that's maybe what he might be best suited for. And tonight, he, to a degree, kind of showed it.
All right, Jack.
Oh, no, has he?
No, he did.
Sorry.
To say.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jack.
Yeah,
can we get I'm guessing you've seen the game. Well, you've told us about it at the beginning. Who is your player?
Jan Vertonghen was taken away from me. I was then just thinking of fullbacks because I'm not sure. You guys need a fullback, right? Still, right?
Right back.
You need a right back.
You need a right back.
Centre back.
Kieran Trippier. As much as people want to, just rip on that, I would just say, Kieran Trippier. At the end of the day, during that Champions League run, especially against Man City, that guy was putting in beautiful balls into the box. I think even I was going to also say a good shout out as well would be Fernando Llorente's knee could probably make it into the side as well. I'd say for the Champions League. I'm going to say Kieran Trippier, and as much as that might not be the most.
For which game though, Jack? It has to be from a standout game.
Because that's what I think I'm referencing Fernando Llorente's knee, because I'm not mistaken. Was it Trippier who put that corner in? Because he used to sometimes take corners for us, or he used to sometimes.
You mean the one off the hip against Man City?
Correct. Yeah, it was his hip. Sorry, I called it his knee, but it's his hip. You're right.
Yeah,
exactly. I was going to say, I think it was actually Kieran Trippier who might have put that ball in the box. And also, I think that Champions League run in general, especially against Man City, if I'm not mistaken, I think he played actually a spectacular game. If I remember, I know we conceded a lot of goals, but I still think
did he not have a good game against Real Madrid when we won?
Trippier.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
He might have got skinned defensively, but I remember Yeah.
I was just going to say, set piece delivery is a bit underrated to a degree. Obviously, as England fans, you guys might know that as well. So I would just say maybe somebody during that Champions League run, especially in the Man City final, at least I can remember him playing a fantastic game. I just remember maybe him celebrating alongside Llorente's hip. So maybe that's why I'm just remembering him for that reason. But
okay, well, yeah, this is your.
Jan was taken away from me.
Yeah, so Jan was taken away, so we're having to scrape the barrel a little bit. Yeah,
it's just unbelievable celebration. So going for Trippier.
All right, he's going for it.
Also, Llorente's hip. Thank you, John.
Llorente's hip. That could be like a pub quiz name, couldn't it? Something like that, couldn't it? All right, Jack. Well done, mate. Thanks for coming on again. And we'll speak to you soon, brother.
Cheers, guys. Big up yourself, Jack.
Cheers, mate.
All right, and by the way,
go on.
No, I'll say, by the way, while we were on that call, we've got another one for goalkeeper. That's from Cody Mack.
I know, I was just going to say,
Tony Parks.
Yeah.
Tony Parks.
That was going to be one of mine.
84. Obviously very famous for that penalty shootout and stuff like that.
Because I had two in my head and that was going to be one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've got a couple in my head.
Yeah, so I've got one left, but this is actually a bit of a left field one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But should we wait?
So the team right now, Tony Parks in goal.
Yeah.
Jan Vertonghen left back. Graham Roberts centre back. We need another centre back. We need a right back. No, Trippier now. Yeah. Right back. So we need one centre back. We need two central midfielders.
Yeah.
And that's all we need, I think. So
yeah, that's it.
Lucas Moura, number 10.
You're loving this, aren't you?
I am loving it. Who have we got on the left? Gareth Bale on the left. Pavlyuchenko up top. Let's bring on Brian.
Brian 1.
Brian, how's it going, man?
What's up, lads? How are you? I think it's my first time on the channel, so thank you for having me. It's
you're welcome.
Tottenham on Tour family are always welcome. Always welcome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on. And your buddy Brian Daigle is doing great work down in London.
I know. He's been filling in for you guys a little bit and participating, and he looks really good in your studio. I have to say, I'm a little jealous that. I don't look nearly as good in my own studio as he looks in yours. So we're
gonna try not let him back in Toronto. We're gonna handcuff him here in London.
UK, right? Nice.
But Brian, talk to me about the game and how did you feel it all went today?
It was a tough one. I think I share a lot of the same feelings as a lot of the other folks who've been on. I thought the 4-3-3 lineup. I think we're struggling with that. I don't understand why it's sort of like a round peg in a square hole scenario, that it doesn't seem to work, especially when you're bringing on younger players who need to get into the game. Dane Scarlett at the top of that three barely saw the ball. That was really hard to watch. Just really wasn't in the game at all. I don't think he had a touch for the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I thought it was arguably it was pretty obvious that we were going to score some goals, but once we did score goals and they weren't, I mean, Lo Celso's goal was great, but the penalty was a penalty. We went off the gas, and it was kind of it's just disappointing. I was yelling at the TV. I was at the local pub, West End in Toronto, Spurs bar, and I was just yelling. I'm like, come on, guys! Like, where's the energy? Where's the energy? Especially at the beginning of the second half. I expected more. I expected us to push and just to go for it, and we didn't. We felt we forced Nuno to do what he did with the substitutions and bringing on the big guns, and that was. I think somewhat necessary, just probably for his job, but also necessary in that just calm the team down. We know we've got this. Let's get the job done and get it out of the way. Of course, there's risk in that for injury and stuff. But I mean, 5-1 looks good on paper, but when you watch the highlights or you watch the game up until the three big guns came on, it wasn't really good football.
It was the most boring 5-1 I think at times I've ever
I
seen,
would agree.
which is fun. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like, how often could you say that in a game where you've just won 5-1? But for most of that, we were talking about like, how to cook, medium rare, how to cook our steaks.
100%. I was incredibly frustrated with it. It was. It was fun when we brought the big players on, but it was unnecessary. The biggest point that I want to make, and I thought this was something that I think is frustrating to watch, especially with Dane Scarlett. I would love to have just seen, despite Harry Kane getting a 3 goals and a hat trick, bring on Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son and keep Dane Scarlett up top and let him play with those players around him. Every time Dane Scarlett has played, he's only played with other players who are new to the team, whether it's Brian Hill or somebody else on the right, a Bergwijn who's struggling for form. Let him play with the best players, then see what he's got, and then teach him how to come deep like Harry Kane's doing. Teach him how to sort of do what Harry Kane did in this game, showing for moving into space, creating space as well for the other players. I want to see that because he looks defeated, and it's really sad because he's a 17-year-old player, very young, needs a little bit of confidence, and I think we were going to win that game, and I would rather have won that 3-1 and Scarlett get the 1 goal than Harry Kane come on and get 3. I thought.
I agree with that. I agree, and I actually think he would have. I think he could have popped up with a goal if he had Moura and Son there, because the game was getting stretched, and I think we would have had them, especially the way that we were springing on them. Yep. And I think that would have been perfect for him, just to sort of slot onto the end of a pass.
Yeah,
and it's a shame, really.
He's good at seeing those lines, Sean. He knows where they are, but there aren't any created unless you bring on the players that can do it. Which is what Son and Moura do really well.
The way that Moura thread the pass through to Kane. That if that was Scarlett on the end of that, he could have been the one to score that. He would have finished that, or at least got it on target, and that would have been good for him, wouldn't it? It's just a shame. You could see when he came off, he looked a little bit like defeated. That was my chance. That was my chance to, against a real crap team to kind of do something. And it's a shame because he's working hard. He looked a little bit like Bambi on ice in the first 5 minutes. He kept falling, he kept slipping over, didn't he? It was such a shame. But I just think I would have liked to see him stay on right to the end of the 90 minutes.
Get him the goal. Even if we the goal.
Just get that, bundle that goal over the line.
His 1 goal is more important than Harry's 3, because then you potentially then have a player who can back him up in these games and go on with confidence and get some goals, so we don't need to bring Harry Kane on in the last 20 minutes and risk an injury when his form is crap. Harry Kane's form is going to be good in a game like this, against a team like this. He's going to come on and he's going to stand out. Sonny as well, Lucas as well. So let Sonny and Lucas do that, and let's Scarlett get an opportunity to pot a couple goals,
because it was very similar to Harry Kane. Like, I remember Harry Redknapp was trying to get him into the side, and he couldn't score, and he was like couldn't get it going, and Redknapp kept putting him in. It was like, just not happening. And he just needed just a little bit of luck just to get it going,
right? Just a moment, and with 2 wingers like Sonny and Moura on either side who are going to provide space and delivery and delivery in the
quality delivery.
Yeah, exactly. And Lucas's delivery was fantastic. I thought Lo Celso played well. I thought Jack was right about that. I thought Lo Celso played well, but I think we have to take into account the competition.
Exactly.
It is expected in this type of game that he should. Dele Alli, frustrating. He goes off frustrated. He doesn't even go to the bench, and he's whinging because he's crap. Like, it's a difficult one. I don't want to get too much into that, but frustrating to watch from Dele Alli. And I thought Brian Hill, I thought he was reasonably good. One of you guys mentioned, I think earlier, that he was trying a bit too hard. I agree with that. I think there was a little bit over the top, kind of like trying to create or make something happen, and then in doing so gave up the ball a couple times, or his touch wasn't as good as it would be. I know, as you guys probably know yourselves, as playing football, sometimes if you're overly excited, you tend to make a few more errors than you normally would. So I think there was that, but I did like what he did. I thought he was still thought he was a player that I want to see play more in the Premier League as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You talk about Giovanni, and you talk about these players that should be performing in these kind of games. I mean, can you read too much into it? And can Gio, will he start this weekend, or would you put him in this weekend?
Oh man, it really comes down to the shape we play. Like, does Gio play on the right side of a 3 in a 4-3-3 at the top of that 3? I don't feel that that's a good position for him. I think I see him more in a, if we're playing a 4-2-3-1, he's either one of the 2 or he's the 10. I don't really like him on the right-hand side. I've seen him last season playing on the right-hand side, and he just didn't really do a heck of a lot. Now, that again, that could just be tactics from Mourinho as well, maybe in a different tactics from Nuno, although, it's arguably Mourinho light. What are we going to get out of him on the right hand side when he's inside the center of the pitch and he can create, he can shift the ball around and drag people around. He can dribble well. That's what I would like to see from him. I want to see more of that from him. He did some of that today. Some of his passing was really good. Some of his passing was a bit suspect as well. But he was trying things, trying to create, trying to push the ball forward, trying to transition. Our transition game in a 4-3-3 is crap. Like when you have one midfielder in that 3 and you don't really have I would love to see a 4-2-3-1. I think that's the squad that we have. I'd like to see Skip and Højbjerg in the 2 and one of them an 8 and the other one a 6. And I'd like to see either Lo Celso in that 10, Dele in that 10, or Dembele in that 10. I want all 3 of those players to play forward. We need that transition player. We need to replace Eriksen. We haven't done it yet. All 3 of those players are supposed to be players that do similar to what Eriksen did. Not the same, but similar. Transition, forward thinking, let's create, and we don't have that. We didn't have that in this game with Lo Celso even on in a 4-3-3. It just doesn't work for me with the players we have. So that's my rant, but it's slightly frustrating that he's insisting on that 4-3-3 over and over again. I want to see him try something else, not even if it doesn't work. I want to see him try it. Like keeps doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I get that. Shall we get?
This is the bit that I like.
Yeah,
look forward to. Yeah,
it's the end. I know.
I've been waiting
I'm
for
the last guy here. I'm the last guy here. So
are you the last guy?
Oh, really?
Are you the last caller?
I was anyway, unless somebody else hopped in after me.
This is the last caller.
Okay.
All right. So what are we looking for?
We need a centre back,
and 2 centre mids. That leaves it perfect actually for us to pick a player each.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So
Perfect.
So 1, 2. We need 2 centre mids and we need a centre back. So your pick.
My center mid and it's going to be the 2011-20. It's going to be the same run. One of the same is Luka Modric. I mean, this Luka Modric has to be in this team. What he did I think he got injured in the first leg against Inter Milan, but then on the second leg got an assist and was just unplayable in the 3-1 win at home. Arguably one of the best midfielders we've ever had, and got us one of the reasons we got to where we did in that run. So Luka Modric for me, easy choice.
All right,
I'm glad I'm not left. I was like, wow, how did nobody pick Luka Modric? I don't even know. That's crazy, but all right.
He was definitely one of the ones I had in my mind as well. So
good, yeah.
Brian, big up yourself. Thanks for coming on
Thanks
today.
For having me, man. I will be back again. I appreciate. It was worth the wait being on. And
brilliant. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself because we enjoyed having you on as well. So
cheers, guys.
See you soon, buddy.
Have a good one. Ciao.
Cheers, Brian.
All
right.
Okay.
Can I go? Because
now it's time to shine.
Right. This is a left field one.
Centre back or midfielder?
I'm going to go midfielder.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. We might have to do a poll for this one.
This is a bit of a left field one, though. The 0-0 AC Milan at home, Sandro.
Ooh.
I don't know if you remember, but he was outstanding in that game.
But
he was outstanding in that game.
The one I've picked for midfield is Moussa Dembele in the in the 2-2 away at Juventus.
Yeah, he was good in that.
He was unbelievable.
He was good in that game. Yeah.
Who was
but everyone's going to go Dembele because it's like it's the most recent player. Do you know what I mean? But I thought Sandro in that game was unbelievable, protecting the defence.
He was.
I think in that game,
I remember that very clearly.
I would say though, Juventus got the 2 goals up and they did sit back quite deep, and Dembele and Eriksen were pulling the strings, but because they had a lot of space on the ball. But in that game at AC Milan, he was hoovering up everything, every single move. I think it was I can't remember the AC Milan players, but even they said on commentary that Sandro was just like destroying them here.
I think we'll go with you. We'll go with Sandro.
Just because it's a bit more left field, is that all right?
Yeah, no, we'll go with you, John. We'll go with you, John. Now a defender, bloody hell.
I can't think of any good
I know,
defender.
me neither.
Oh, no, we're panicking now.
Centre back.
Let's think of games, like big European games then.
There was the only thing that comes to my mind is that Toby Alderweireld's skill against Borussia Dortmund, but we lost that game like 4-0.
Yeah, can't put that in. No, that can't be the one, can it?
Surely there's a Toby game in there.
What other games was there that you can remember? Just big games.
That a centre back
really
strong. Stood out. I can't really think of one.
When did we keep a clean sheet either?
We never keep clean sheets.
Yeah. What about going back other Champions Leagues? Did we look good in any of those?
Well, that game against Milan when we kept the clean sheet.
Oh, do you know what?
Home, Ledley King was brilliant then, wasn't he?
Which one? The Inter Milan?
No, the AC Milan.
The AC Milan. Do you know what? Kabul played well in the Inter Milan game as well. I remember Kabul having it. Yeah, at home.
Did he play that game?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Are you sure? Kabul. Joseph Cahill saying Sanchez Bayern 7-2.
Oh yeah. We could have a joke one in there. I'm pretty sure Kabul played in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Brian, I agree with Brian Daigle. Ledley in that first Champions League run, he was imperious.
The first Champions League run.
Yeah, and especially in those games against Milan.
Yeah, I'm happy to go with that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That would see. Yeah, it'd be a shame not to put Ledley in, wouldn't it?
Yeah. All right, fine.
All right, it's good that Brian gets his say there.
Ledley and Graham Roberts at the back. Bloody hell, what leadership
strong.
there is.
Yeah,
there.
that's strong. That's what we need, isn't it?
Exactly. If only we could have someone of their ilk right now.
Yeah.
I think he's right. That's who I'm thinking about. It's Gallas in the Milan game. Gallas was the one that was incredible.
I was going to say Gallas,
Jogged
but
my
I wasn't
memory.
thinking about that
Jogged
game.
my memory. It wasn't Ledley King. It was Gallas.
Yeah.
It was Gallas.
For which one? The AC Milan.
Yeah.
Game? Yeah.
So I'm putting in Gallas.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, it actually pains me to take out Ledley King and put Gallas in.
Yeah, I know. And he's a Gooner as well, but
yeah.
But you have to just call it as you see it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what the game is.
Bob Spur says Dawson in that game as well was unbelievable, and Sims getting involved in the comments as well.
Which one for the AC Milan?
Yeah, he's saying Gallas and Dawson both played amazing that day.
Sim, did Kabul play in the Inter Milan game? I just have a vision of Kabul on the ball. We'll wait and see if Sim.
We'll wait and see. Basically, I need to pick between Dawson and Gallas. Basically
for that game.
Yeah. I'm going to go for Mickey Dawson. You have to.
Yeah. Now he's changing it up. Now he's changing it up.
You have to go for Mickey Dawson. Sim wants to put in Winks against Real Madrid, apparently.
He's saying Kabul played right back, yeah.
Oh,
I just remember him playing, but yeah, okay. Good knowledge, Sim.
So let's run through this team. We've got the 11 now.
He loves it now. He loves it.
We've got the 11. I loved it before we even came on air. All right, so.
Tony Parks in goal. And Delect, the penalty saves.
Yeah. Right back. Who have we got right back? Kieran Trippier. Against Man City.
Yeah.
Left back, we've got Jan Vertonghen against Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, that's a great one. I love that one.
Centre backs, we've got Graham Roberts.
Yeah.
Centre back, we've got Michael Dawson against AC Milan. Two midfielders, we've got Sandro against AC Milan.
Yeah.
And we've got, who else? We've got Luka Modric.
Against Inter Milan.
Was against
at
Inter
home.
Milan.
Yeah.
Inter Milan at home. Number 10, we got Lucas Moura against Ajax.
Yeah.
Right wing, we got Sonny against Man City.
Mm-hmm.
Left wing, we've got Bale against Inter Milan. And up front, we've got Pavlyuchenko against Inter Milan.
Yeah.
So basically, this team is compiled against Inter Milan, AC Milan.
Yeah.
and
Can we play you every week?
All right.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that is our team.
Who would be the man of the match of that team?
Oh, it's got to be Lucas.
Yeah, come on. I teed that one up, sorry.
Homosexuals. Yeah. But Kane doesn't even get in a team.
Ooh. I know, we have to put that on, who said Pavlyuchenko?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest.
Kane
doesn't get into team because Peter Crouch gets into this team.
For who? Oh, for what? For which game?
Milan, in the San Siro.
Oh, I see, yeah, okay, yeah. Or you could put Lennon as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, Lennon, yeah, but we got Sonny on the right.
If Kane was to get in, which European game would it get in?
Lennon?
Would you say? No, Kane. If Kane was to go in, which is like which one would you say is the...
His hat-trick against Nicosia, obviously.
Yeah. Well, and then when he went in goal. Was that the game?
No, he didn't go. He went in goal against
who did he?
Asterios Tripoli, I think.
That was it, right.
Yeah.
Maybe for that one.
No, Nicosia was in the Champions League.
Oh, right,
It was the group stage Champions League, and he scored a hat-trick out in Cyprus.
Yeah. He hasn't really had... Which one would you say is his most
standout? He was out injured for that Champions League run, wasn't he? From the quarters onwards.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the Dortmund games, because I remember him scoring some pretty good goals against Dortmund. So probably one of the Dortmund games.
Away.
Dortmund in the last 16 of that run, maybe.
Yeah, when he scored the goal, 1-0, wasn't it, away from home?
Well, we won 3-0 at home, didn't we?
And then 1-0 away. He scored the goal, didn't he? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Happy with that team?
Yeah, I am happy. I mean, I probably would have put either Crouch or Kane in instead of Pavlyuchenko. But apart from that, I think it's pretty spot on. I think that whoever picked that Sandro was probably off his head a bit. But I think, apart from
that was a quality performance.
No, it was. I'm not going to lie. It was a very quality performance.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, it is now 12:30, so already into tomorrow. Blimey. So come and join us later for the Good Morning Tottenham. Probably going to start about 10:30 in the morning. So come and join us for that. Big up to John for today coming in once again, the mainstay on the watch-alongs. You see him here every single game from now on, apart from the next
game. It's my nan's 90th birthday. I'm not here.
Everyone give a big shout out to John's nan in the comments. Happy 90th birthday.
Thank you.
And also big up to Sam as well, running the back end today. Big up to Simeon, who's just left. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching today. 5-1 victory. The glory nights of European football are back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.